The shooting in Uvalde tells us once and for all that everything the right-wing NRA messages is wrong. A good guy with a gun stops a bad guy with a gun. Bullshit. There were dozens of trained good guys there, and they did nothing while those children were slaughtered in their classroom. Mandatory waiting periods, expanded background checks, and raising the minimum age for buying firearms won't work. Bullshit. This kid waited until he turned 18, walked into a gun store and bought 2 AR-15s and over 1,600 rounds of ammunition. No one stopped him. No one questioned his motives. He didn't need training or insurance. He didn't have to wait 3 days or a month while his history was checked. Sure, he had no prior felonies. There was no restraining order against him. But he'd been publicly threatening to rape people. He had a bunch of women turn him in for violent and disturbing online behavior. And yet this troubled kid could just walk into a store and buy a semi-automatic weapon. Well, guns don't kill people. People kill people. Sure, people kill people. But people with guns kill more people faster and more efficiently. How many children could this disturbed individual have killed with a knife or a hammer or a bat or a rock before he was taken down by someone in that classroom or the lying cowards from the Uvalde Police Department? Would he have even wanted to do it if he didn't have the pleasure of blowing people away with a gun, especially that kind of gun? And why didn't the police engage him? Because that kind of gun has no business in the hands of untrained civilians. The police know what an AR-15 can do to the human body, and they wanted no part of it. The police were scared of that gun. Well, that's why we need to militarize the police. Bullshit. The Uvalde police have their own SWAT team. 40% of the entire city budget goes to their department. It didn't make a difference. They did nothing for 78 minutes while parents begged them to save their children. They say they were waiting for a key, for Border Patrol, for more information. They can't get their story straight. But while they were diddling around and tasing and handcuffing parents who were losing their minds listening to their children dying, they were covering their ass and protecting themselves. But we have to respect the cops, defer to them, trust them. Bullshit. They lie. Police officers seem ready and willing to use all types of force on unarmed people across America. But a real firefight, even at 20-1 odds, not so much. Well, my Second Amendment right says, who cares? Who cares what your Second Amendment right says? It was written over 200 years ago when these weapons weren't even imagined possibilities. You want to tailor our laws to originalism, to what our founding fathers were thinking at the time? Well, they weren't thinking about AR-15s and body armor and infinite rounds of ammunition. And they certainly didn't write the amendment to protect guns over children. They put in well-regulated for a reason. And it's about time we stopped ignoring that part of the amendment. Ban assault rifles. Raise the legal buying age, instill a mandatory waiting period, do background checks, insist on insurance and training, pass laws for safe storage, and hold people responsible for what happens with their weapons. You have the right to own guns, but we have the right to life, liberty, and the pursuit of happiness, and our rights trump yours. Your arguments are played out. They're done. We're done.